In my previous video, I explained charging by conduction. You might recollect that I had shown this in that video. Observe this region. Notice how the charges disappear from the lower plate and appear on the upper plate when they come in contact with one another. You can easily charge any object just by bringing it in contact with a charged object. However, a major disadvantage of charging by this method is that the originally charged object loses some of its own charge. You might be thinking that that's okay. To get something we need to sacrifice something sometimes, shouldn't we? But what if we can get something without sacrificing anything? Even better, right? The solution to our problem is to charge an object by the process of induction. This is a metal ball, a singularly uninteresting piece of equipment which is about to undergo a scientific experiment. The metal ball is resting on an insulated plastic stand which is placed upon a table. And this is a positively charged glass rod. We first bring the positively charged glass rod near to the metal ball. The metal ball, which has plenty of free electrons, gets affected by the presence of this charged glass rod. The free electrons, which are free to move about inside the metal body, are negatively charged, so they get attracted by the glass rod and a bunch of them accumulate near the side of the sphere which is nearest to the glass rod. Simultaneously, a bunch of positive ions are created on the side farthest away from the rod as the electrons leave those atoms to come near to the positively charged glass rod. Using a wire, the opposite end of the sphere is connected to the ground. Now, the Earth is actually a huge reservoir of charges. It is also known as a ground, or as scientists like to call it, it is an infinite sink or a source of electrons. So is the Earth positively or negatively charged? It turns out that there is a lot of debate and discussion among scientists as to what the charge of Earth is. However, many people believe that the surface of the Earth is negatively charged and the sky is positively charged. And some people also believe that it's probably the other way around. The internet is flooded with theories regarding this issue. However, this is a topic for another day and I'll come back to it for sure. For now, consider that the Earth is negatively charged. So, the Earth can be considered to have an excess of electrons. When we connect this side with the greater concentration of positive ions to the wall or the ground with a wire, then something magical happens. Now, the positive ions by itself are pretty heavy, so they are unable to move. However, electrons on the other hand have a mass of 9.11 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg, so they are pretty light particles. When the wire is connected, the electrons from the Earth rush to the region which has a greater concentration of positive charges. Thus, the positive ions get neutralized. While all this takes place, the electron is still held in place due to attraction by the glass rod. On removing the rod from the vicinity of the metal sphere, the electrons spread out all over the metal surface, providing it with a net negative charge. Now that we know how to charge an object by induction, let us take a look at the pros and cons of this method of charging a body. First, let us take a look at the advantages. The charge on the metal body is of the same magnitude as the one on the glass rod, so the full charge is transferred without any sort of loss of charge of the original object. Let's take a look at the cons now. The charge on the metal body is of the opposite sign as the charge on the glass rod, so you need different materials for obtaining different signs and magnitudes of charge, so charging becomes a slightly tedious procedure. You can only charge conductors by the process of charging of induction. Insulators can only be charged by rubbing or conduction. So, that's all for this video. Thank you very much. Do subscribe and stay tuned for more videos just like this.